Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Board Game Heaven Talks Accessories. My name is Raymond, and in this video I'll be taking a look at the Laserox Rollganizer insert for Role Player plus the first expansion Monsters and Minions, which is this package right here, plus the second expansion for Role Players Fiends and Familiars, which is this package. Plus, if you combine both of these, they will fit inside the Role Player collector's box, so the big box I have here. So I'll first assemble all the components and show you how they fit in their respective boxes, and then also into the big box, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, the Laserox Rollganizer for Role Player. It's in this shrink wrapped package as usual. So let's just open that up. Okay, so we've got all kinds of, we've got 6 sheets, I think. So let's take a look at the assembly guide with the golden Laserox sticker that you can optionally stick on your box, so you know that there's a Laserox organizer in there. Okay, so here are the sheets, and again, which I find strange personally is that they are numbered 1 through 6 on the sheets themselves, and here it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I don't know why they do that, but apparently some reason, I don't know. But this is G, so we'll put that there. Let's see what I want to make first, because I don't think it's too many boxes. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things here, and we have to assemble that one, the card holder, 3 times, and we have 2 more here. So yeah, and there's plenty, but they're smaller boxes, so nothing big and nothing too complex. So yeah, and that's it. This one goes over here. So I'll do this one first, and then the sides, and then the heads, and then we're done. So I'll take my glue, just simple wood glue, and just apply a little on the bottom of this divider, like so. You don't need much. And then just put that in, and if it's tight, you can tap them into place with this hammer, or any hammer, but I have a rubber hammer from Laserox, which they sell. Ouch, wasn't aligned right. And that will just tap them in easily. So yeah, that's an interesting design there. Okay, next one. And these just slide in like that, if you need them. And that's already one tray done. Quite simple. And let's move on to the next. All right. And there's your card tray. And if you have a little bit of glue coming out, just wipe it off. Wipe it off like that. It will dry up transparent. Just make sure to wash your brush afterwards and use an old brush, of course. Okay. Well, the rest looks pretty straightforward. I'll just continue building these elements, and then I'll show you where everything goes, unless I found something that's a bit more difficult. Here is a piece of transparent, I think it's a divider, and it has some protective foil on it to show you. So I'll just show you that you can take that off like so. It's a bit sticky. And then the other side as well. And once you take that off, you have a nice transparent divider. So I'll just keep that to the side for now. I'll see you in a bit. All right, so I've put everything together, as you can see, and I've put all the stuff from the core game and the first expansion, Monsters and Minions, into these trays. So let me explain what goes where. First of all, you've got the big tray here, which holds all the dice from the core game and Monsters and Minions with the bag. Now, I couldn't get the bag to fit with the dice inside of it, sadly. This fits nicely. There's some wiggle room. So it's 5 rows of dice and 2 rows high stacked together. That's great. But the bag, I just couldn't put them in the bag and put that in there, which is a bit of a shame. You do need to arrange them. It's a very tight fit. So what you do is you just fold the bag in 3 and then you fold it double. Just make sure the little drawstring is in there, and then you fold it double again, and that'll fit into the tray like that. And that's the first tray you put in. You just put it on the bottom here, and I also like to keep the assembly guide at the bottom, just for reference. Then you've got all of these card holders. So these are all the market cards from the core game, right? So I put those there. Didn't use any dividers. And they're all sleeved in Paladin sleeves, so that's premium thickness sleeves, and that fits nicely. These are all the market cards from Fiends and Familiars, which you can recognize with the little 2 in the corner here, the die with number 2. And those are all of them with the divider in the middle, and that just fits. Which leaves me with a space for all of these cards. What are they again? The class cards. And these are from the core game and Monsters and Minions, I believe. Yes, because this has the 2 and these don't. And this is all of them. And there's some room left, as you can see. So I guess there's room for the Fiends and Familiars in here, which I will see shortly, after I've built that one. This is the backstory. They are the backstory cards. Also, again, from the core game and Fiends and Monsters and Minions, first expansion. And I also had a slot for all the initiative cards here. And I already did get all of them with this Call to Adventure card from Fiends and Familiars, just 1 card. And up to 5 players. So I replaced the old ones with all of these newer cards. And that goes into the small slot here. So even sleeved, so that's fine. Which even left me with some room in the middle. And I have to take these out first because of my big fingers. But these are already the backstory cards of Fiends and Familiars. So, you have these all together. I could leave out this divider, but if you wanted to keep them divided, this just holds the cards from Fiends and Familiars. So that's already, again, another spot that you can use for the second expansion. But if you don't have it, you just have some extra room. All right, so those go to the right over there. And you've got this awesome card holder. So this basically doesn't hold anything now, but you can put this on the table while playing with the market cards in here. And it's a pretty big stack. So all the market cards fit in here, and then you just take off the top numbers of cards that you need for the number of players, and the discarded cards go in there. So that's just a very handy tool, which they managed to fit in because you're gonna put the smaller cards in there. And the smaller cards have these holders. And these are the monsters. So I've got their attacks, their locations, and obstacle cards of all of them. And there's 3 sets of 3. So I got 3 monsters in here and 3 in here. So that's all of these. And well, they fit in here, which is very cleverly done. So you need to pay attention when putting this together that this has a slanted bottom. This is quite an asymmetrical thing to put together, and the instructions tell you to make both the same, which works, but you can also mirror one if you want to, and then when you put them on the table, you know, you can kind of put them together like that if it's mirrored. It doesn't really matter because you just put one here, and if you make the other one the same, it goes like this, and if you mirror it, then the opening will be on the other side, that's all. And then this has all the alignment cards from the first game and the first expansion, which fits nicely, again, sleeved with premium cards. And I had some space left for these cost summary and XP cards, just a few, which I assume has plenty of room for the Fiends and Familiar smaller cards. So that goes in here. Then you have this little tray, again with a slanted bottom, but it sits flush on the table. It sits, you know, straight if you put it down. And it has all these tracker tokens and the first player token, and that also goes on top of that, which is really cleverly done. And another one of those for the experience cubes. It's pretty cool. They all fit in here. You don't need to really arrange them. I just tossed them in and shook it around a bit, and that's fine. As long as they don't come over the edge, that's fine. And you might wonder, why is this tiered? That's because the player boards will sit on top of that, which we'll see in a bit, which is also, again, really clever. So then we've got this tray, which has this acrylic lid for these adventure tokens. And this just sits on top of that, and you click it, oops, you click it into place over here. So this holds that shut. Not super tight, but it's tight enough so it doesn't fall out. So just take care of that a bit. And then I was careless with these monster cards. So these are the big monster cards, again, from the core game. And, oh, well, they're from Fiends and Familiars. So we have those. And they all go in here. So let me just put those back. And again, with big paladin sleeves, and they just fit in the width. They have a very little wiggle room, but there's plenty of room to fit them. And then in the middle part here, I put the play sequence cards. I have all of them from Fiends and Familiars as well, because they are slightly different, as you can see. But I just took all of them, and on the back they have the tracking. They replaced the smaller cards from the core game, so I just left those out. And they go into the center bit. It's a bit of a tight fit in the width, again, because these sleeves are pretty big, but once you get it, it fits in fine. And on the back, you've got the smaller cards, because here is the divider for these tokens, which is very cleverly done. And these are all the monster cards. And you can see a bit with this skull here. And these are from Monsters and Minions. Just the Monsters and Minions cards. And they, sleeved again, just fit in here. So as you can see, it's a bit of a tight fit. It's not too tight. I can easily press them in. But yeah, it just fits with these thicker sleeves. And I kind of like that you can still see the icon there. So that just goes in here as well. Just put it there, which leaves me with these two. And this is the bottom one with the dice. So you have these attack dice, combat dice, and these new dice, which also go into the bag. And it has this little holder here, which sticks out. So you put this one on the bottom. And this tray, as we saw when assembling, has a little hole in the middle here. So you put your coins in there. I've got the metal coins, which are super nice. And then you have these different tokens that fit in here. And you simply take this and you put that on top of that. And it will sit over that little nub, which is pretty cool. So that leaves me with space for the boards. So these are the 6 plus 5 boards from the core game and Monsters and Minions, and I always like to put one of them, well actually I should do it this way for all these coins, and then the next one in the other direction, so you don't have any holes for, you know, small tokens to fall through. Not that it will likely happen, but just to be sure. And then just put the rest on top of all of that. Make sure you align that nicely, and that just fits, and everything is completely flush. That's really well done. There's one drawback, and that's of course this booklet, which, you know, never seems to be, you know, taken into account with these inserts. So you take the rule books, you got Monsters and Minions and the core game rule book, and you just put those on top. And I guess you could just put this one here or not. And that fits nicely. And it would have been flush were it not for that notepad. So that's everything from the core game and Monsters and Minions with this Laserox insert. Let's move on to the Fiends and Familiars insert. So this is the expansion Rollganizer for Fiends and Familiars, which has additional slots for all the extra stuff. Extra coins even, extra dice, extra cards, all that stuff, and new player boards. So let's just open this up and start building. Okay, let's take a look at the instructions. And again, with the nice golden Laserox seal. Pretty cool. So this only has 4 sheets, so it shouldn't be too hard. And let's see. Here are all the trays. So we have a backstory tray, a top dice tray, and a bottom dice tray, I guess. Top dice tray. Perhaps in relation to the core game. I don't know. Yeah, because that goes on top of the dice box from the core insert. The monster holder for the additional monster cards. And that clicks on top of that one from the core game, which is really clever. I'll show you that when it's done. And here is another card holder, another card holder. So these cards are slanted to save in height. And then here we've got last cards, some additional cards, and some more tokens if you need it. And this is basically how it all is put together. So you just put all these trays together with those card holders to the sides, which leaves you for space for additional boards. And if you have the core box, you just put those on top of that, again, with all the boards together. So that's it's pretty cleverly done. Just stacks, and that will fit either into the Fiends and Familiars box if you just have the single boxes, or altogether into the big box, which I will of course show you as well. All right, let's get started. So I'll do this one because that's interesting with the linking mechanism. So that's oh, I actually found one error in the core box, which I will show you in a bit. I just went and grabbed this little sheet, which this reminded me of. This tray, this bottom tray with the dice, has parts listed here, F4, F5, etc., which don't match the actual number. So this required parts instruction here is incorrect. You need the D6, which is the bottom, the D4 twice, the D5 in the middle, and the D7. So it's listed correctly here. So just follow the assembly and ignore the required parts. So there's a little fix you need to do there, Laserox, with this. But the rest seem to be correct. All right. And then, again, just as simple as the core game, you just align them. This one at the bottom, this one in the back, and this one goes to... All right, so you need to pay attention with this, because if this is the bottom, then the hooks need to point forward, and they go like that. So this sticks out in the bottom. Obviously, this needs to be the bottom because it sits on top of that one. This one here. And this one goes on top. So it needs to point that way. Also, this one holds the big monster cards. If you put this one in the core box without Fiends and Familiars, there's a lot of room here. And these might, as you've seen, slide out, right? You've seen that happen. And it also means that if that is in your box, it will be next to this. And if you tilt your box, then these cards will slide out and sit underneath, and you won't be able to take this out unless you take this out first. So that's something you need to keep in mind. If you want to take this one out and you don't have Fiends and Familiars, it might be because these slid out. Now, if you do have the expansion cards, which I have over here, these are the monster cards from Fiends and Familiars, you're going to have to put these in with the others, which just fits. Well, it fits. Again, the width with these sleeves is a bit tricky. But they will sit, and now it won't slide out as easily. It will slide out, of course, because you need to be able to take them out if I shake it hard enough. But at least, you know, when it's in your box, it won't go out that easily anymore. So, which is rather good, I think. So, there you go. All right, start gluing these. So there's your extra card box for the extra monster cards that come with Fiends and Familiars, which will click on top of this. Now, the reason I'm doing this right now is because, oh, there we go. You know, when you're hitting these together, you might make them a little bit too tight, although it should fit. So I gave it a little extra tap to see if it still fits, and it does. So that's great. I love that. This is just the coolest thing. All right, let's move on. This is one piece that I wanted to show you because it's a little bit more complicated, I wouldn't say, but you need to pay a little bit more attention because it has 3 walls and a back that are all different. And that's because this is a card holder, which also has a little room for some tokens or whatever. It's this one. And this is the bottom. So as you can see, it has 2 smaller slots here. So this is obvious that goes here because of that little notch and the 2 big ones. So you can't miss that one. The small one goes in here. And then it has these 3 dividers. Now there's one which is symmetrical with a flat side. That goes on the outer side for the cards. There's one with a flat top that also goes on the outside with a notch here and an indentation there to hold this. And there's another symmetric one which has a notch here. So it's the same as this, but with a notch, and that one goes in the middle. And then on top of this and that, you will put this. Okay, so that's just one that you need to pay a little bit of attention to while putting together. So there you go. That's the card holder with the extra slot there. So you could put it together like this, like it's pictured, or in mirror image, like it's instructed there. Doesn't really matter. So everything's put together, and I've figured out what to put where from the Fiends and Familiars expansion. And it's you know, a box like this. This is the Monsters and Minions box, but the Fiends and Familiars box is similar. So it will all fit in there, and it tells you how to put it together here and here. So what I did is I took the little token tray, and I had more of these from that expansion. So I just tossed a few of them in here, but they do have removable dividers. So you can actually just say, well, if you know, if you take the core box insert with those tokens, you could also say, I'm just gonna remove some of these dividers and put all the crown tokens in one with the smaller money tokens, or what is the, well, I don't know what they're called anymore, charm tokens or something, and put the all the damage tokens in the other one if you want to, or just divide them up a bit and put these on different places on the board so that people can easily reach them. Anyway, you can remove all of these dividers, so you can divide them however you want. I also have the metal coins, but if you had the cardboard tokens from the core game and the 2 expansions, you'll have a lot of these, and you can put them in here and you'll have some left, and you could put the rest in here. That's what this slot is for. But I'm using the metal one, so I'm using this for something else, you know, for like D&D and stuff. All right, so I've got the token box over here. Then I've got this separate tray, which is purely to store cards, and I put all the backstory cards in there, every one of them, including the core game and Monsters and Minions. So this is from all the expansions and the core game, and I put that in here. So this is simply to hold them, which meant I've freed up some space in this box, which is from the core game. So you do need to move some stuff around, and that is for all the market cards of the Fiends and Familiars expansion with the little 3 down here, if you can see that. But these are all the market cards. So I'll just put those, just like the other market cards, in here, so that these 3 boxes in the core box hold all of my market cards. These are still the initiative cards, and these are still the core and first expansion class cards, and it still has some room, so I took these class cards from Fiends and Familiars and just put them together, and there's still, I mean, some wiggle room. So that means now all the market cards from the core game, expansion 1, expansion 2, are in these dividers in the core box with these cards and initiative cards, so they don't go into this insert. Now the extra monster cards go in here. There's plenty of room, so you can also stick in some promos if you have them. So this is extra, and you can just put that down here against one of these so the cards don't slide out. Or actually, I wanted to put this in first. So this is the dice tray for the new dice, and like I said, if you have some extra tokens or coins, you can put them there. And that goes here. And this is actually raised a little because this will sit on top of the dice box from the core game, as you can see. So if you put them all together in the big box, which I will show you later, this will stack. But for now, I'm just going to go with the retail boxes. So I'm just going to move this down a bit because this is raised, and I'll show you why. Because the boards will sit on top of this, and this will be slightly lower. So then we have this, which has these hooks, which you won't be using if you just put them in the retail boxes. And you'll have this asymmetrical box, which will have room for the new initiative cards with the fiends on them. So I just put those there. There was basically some space left after moving things around. So you can put those there. And again, you have another little slot here for, I don't know, whatever tokens you have left. And then we're left with these 3 card holders. These are again the monster cards. They're locations, attacks, and obstacles. So 3 different monsters go here. The other 3 go here, and you can sleeve them. So that just goes in there. And I use this one for all those minion or fiend cards. I haven't sleeved these yet, but as you can see, this is full. So if you sleeve them, you'll need both slots. You'll just divide them across these 2 card holders. And this one is for all the alignment cards from the expansion. And I had some of these reference cards left. And that goes there. So as you can see, that fits into the retail box, which is pretty cool. So let's see. Then you need to take the 4 new character boards and put them on top. And I was gonna try and see if this would actually fit in as well. But it just doesn't. I mean, if this would fit next to that, it would have fit in here nicely, or this, because this is slightly lower. But it just doesn't work that way. So that's a bit of a shame. Even here, there's not really a spot for it. So as you can see, this is lower than this because this has those hooks. But that doesn't really matter because there's still enough room for the character boards. So these go in here. And this is a raised area. This is lower, this is lower, this is lower, and this is again raised. So it will rest on this and on here. So if you press here, it will pop up a bit. So you can put all of these here. And again, you know, flush with the box. If you put in the rule book, and that easily fits on top. And then you could put the lid on. So yeah, I have the Monsters and Minions lid, but of course, this works for Fiends and Familiars as well. One important thing I forgot though is, of course, the Familiars, which also comes here. So you basically just divide them on top of these. Now, I don't know if this will fit. I think you just need to keep stacking them like this. So in the end, I think it does raise the lid a little. At some point, you'll cover these, and I still have 2 left. So yeah, that just sits on top. So that does raise the lid of the expansion box just a little. Hopefully in the big box, that won't be an issue. Not that it is a big issue, but if you want your boxes to be flush, I mean, this is a very tight fit with all of these components. There's a lot of components. But let me just take the big box and put them in. Okay, so here is the big box, and I always like to keep the empty packets of my sleeves so I know which sleeves I use should I need more. So let's put everything inside the box. Now, some of you may want to store your box vertically. So I'm gonna put the things inside the box to accommodate for that. Now, it doesn't really matter that much, but just to be on the safe side. So I took this card holder with this tray with the tokens and these cubes and these cards. And I had all of the monster cards from the Monsters and Minions expansion sleeved in here. And I had some other cards in here, but I moved them around a bit since I'm keeping them together anyway. So these are all the cards, the monster cards from Fiends and Familiars. And once sleeved, this will be full just like this. And it will fit really nicely. So I put these in here. And then I took these and I turned that around and I put those in the bottom corner over here. Okay, so that when stored vertical, it will basically just be on its back, and that's fine. All right, so then let's see, we have these bigger card holders with all the market cards that we saw. I put those on the side from the core game, the first and the second expansion, along with the other cards that I showed you. So that goes here. So then I take the bottom tray with all of the monster cards of these and all of those victory point tracking / turn overview cards. Oh, as you can see that here, a little bit of glare. And the first monster cards from Monsters and Minions. And I put that on the bottom with the open side up, again for vertical storage. And then the monster cards from Fiends and Familiars with the little hooks here. Like I showed you, that hooks in here, and then you slide up, and then that clicks into place, leaving a recess here. And that recess will fit these, but I'll put those in a bit, because first I need to put in the tray with the dice from the core box, and the tray with the coins and the tokens from the core box, which stack on top of each other. And then I can take the backstory cards of the entire game and put those on top of that to fill out that space. And the rest of the space is filled out with this little token tray. So then this tray with the remainder of the cards, it's not really a lot, that fits here. So then I have a nice big spot in the back, of course, for the dice with the bag from the core game and the first expansion. And then this new tray with these nubs that will sit in these recesses of the extra dice from Fiends and Familiars. So that goes on top of that. So then we've filled everything out. We still need to put in these card holders. So the broader one, these are less wide, as you can see. So these have now all the alignment cards from the core game and the first expansion, and the second expansion still need to sleeve them, but I put those together to keep them all in one place. That goes on top of this next to these. And then of course the rest just goes in here. So I put these Fiend cards here, which sleeved will take up both slots. And these are just the smaller reference cards, which I put in here. So there's still a little bit of room left for some smaller cards. And then you only need to put in the player boards. So just take one, so you know, that fits nicely. And I turn them around, like I said, for the rest, and that fits in here. So, yep, really nice. And there's still some room left. So you take these familiar cards and you need to put 5 on top of each other. So you 5 here, 5 here, and 5 here, and it's still below the rim of the box. And then you can just take the 3 booklets. Sadly, again, this thing is always overlooked, but I guess, you know, once you've used it all, you won't have that notepad left, and you'll probably just keep a couple of these laminated. 5, you basically need a maximum of 5, and you can just put those on top as well. But anyway, it will fit. It will just raise a little, I'm afraid, but at some point that notepad will be gone. Actually, I think it's more or less flush. Let's see. Yeah, well, okay, slightly. That's due to the notepad. But this has now everything, and it is a heavy box, I can tell you. It's pretty cool. Has everything, or optionally, if you wanted to store everything in the retail boxes, so the core box and one of the expansions, it's basically the same like I showed you. You just put them in your individual boxes, and that will get you, you know, a similar total of shelf space, technically. So that's really clever. I like the way that you can either divide them in the retail boxes or put it all in the big box. So let's go to my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on the Laserox insert for Role Player plus the expansions. Well, first of all, it was fun to put together. I always love putting these wooden inserts together. It's very relaxing. It's not too hard. The instructions are very clear. And it's nice to see how it all takes shape and how it all fits in the box. It has room for everything, sleeved cards as well. So that's good as well. And you can store it in either the retail boxes, and you just need one of the 2 expansion boxes to fit it all together, or you can choose to put it all into big box if you have it, and it will all fit nice and flush, except for, of course, this little notepad, which is basically unaccounted for, but you can just put it on top. It's not too big, and it will, of course, eventually get thinner. So that's not that much of a problem for me personally. And well, that's basically just it. So it has room for all the dice, as you've seen, and for all the cards and all the tokens and your coins and what have you. And everything is in separate little trays, so you can put those on the table and just pass them around. And even there's a second tray for the excess tokens, so you can divide them along these two trays and just pass that around and put them on different spots on the table, which is very convenient. And the only negative that I have is the fact that you need to store all your dice in these trays. So you have the Fiends and Familiar dice, the new ones with the extra combat dice into this tray. And you have the Monsters and Minions dice in here with these extra combat dice. Well, the combat dice are always separate, so that's fine. You can put this on the table, and you can put the other tray here on the table as well, and people can then grab those orange dice, as many as they need. But the original game's dice that go into the bag need to be sorted into this tray with the bag, otherwise it won't fit. You cannot, at least I tried, but I couldn't put all the dice into the bag and then just put that all in here. Now, I guess you could potentially put all those orange dice into this tray. You just put all the orange dice in here. There's some room left for 5 more in here, and I guess you can fit some of those in here on the left side as well, and that will be plenty of dice. You don't need them all anyway. And then just put these dice in the bag together with the colored dice and together with these extra dice from Fiends and Familiars, and leave this tray out. Just leave it out and leave this tray, well, you could leave it in just to put the bag in, because then you'll have more space, because you'll save this much space. And then you could technically just put the bag into that corner, but you need to make sure that it's flat at the top, or at least doesn't stick out too much, because that's where the boards go. So I think you could actually do that. I'll go ahead and try it and edit that in somewhere. But yeah, I mean, if you just want to put everything in the dividers and into these trays, that works fine and looks amazing. Makes the box pretty heavy, but it's already pretty heavy due to all the paperwork and these cardboard, these boards. Those are pretty heavy, and all the dice. So it does add a bit to the weight. But yeah, it is what it is. It's pretty cool. I like it. I'm giving it 2 thumbs up. And I hope this video has helped you to decide whether or not you want to get this insert as well. You can find it on the Laserox website. The link it is in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon if you'd like to be notified whenever I upload a new video. Please also consider becoming a Patreon saint by clicking the link in the description below, or the icon at the end of this video, and there you can see how you can support my channel and get your name in the credits of all of my videos, which is very much appreciated. Helps me make more videos for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Board Game Heaven.